Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another Magic the Gathering arena video for you guys today. And today we are taking our first steps into Brawl. So for anybody that doesn't know, Brawl is kind of arena's variant of Commander. And yeah, I wanted to play Kefka. I've been eyeballing Kefka for a while and I finally got a build together. Now, real quick, just to let you guys know, this is standard Brawl, not Brawl. So Brawl has a much wider, card pool, where standard Brawl is the cards that are legal in standard. Because I came in pretty late, I have majority of the standard cards. I don't have the funds to go in digging for a bunch of, optimal cards to make basically a CEDH deck, because most of arena is going to be CEDH. But I have been tweaking this deck, and I finally got it somewhere I like it, and I want to share with you guys because it's a lot of fun. And of course, it's our first time doing a video on Brawl. So if you guys enjoy the content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also guys, I have a goal. I'm trying to reach 2,500 subscribers before the end of the year. So we got what, two months at the time of recording this, and I need 60 subscribers, so tell your friends about me. Anyway guys, let's jump in. We're gonna talk about the deck. If you guys want to just jump straight to the gameplay, there'll be timestamps down below. You guys could just jump to the gameplay and see how the deck plays. But we're gonna run through the cards real quick and why I'm running them and what the point is and what I'm going for. Also, this is my first deck in Brawl, so if you guys see me doing some suboptimal stuff, let me know. I would love to improve this deck because I have a lot of fun with it when it goes off. And I want to make it better and better. All right, enough long ass intro. Let's go. So Kefka, Court Mage, our commander. So he's blue, black, red, and 2. 5 is a little high of a cost, but we deal with it. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card, then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. I love this because that effect right there feels like an upgrade to Emmett Selk. And you guys know Emmett Selk was the card I started building everything around. He's actually my commander deck IRL. And I feel like some of this card is upgrade to that card, where some of it is worse. For example, losing out on the Yawgmoth's Will on legs does kind of suck because, Emmett Selk is a really, really nice late game threat. Whereas Kefka requires us to have answers in our deck that we can draw, as opposed to getting access over and over again to our grave. It kind of sucks because as you're losing cards throughout the game, with Emmett Selk, you'll get them back. With Kefka, not so much. Because by his second ability, pay 8. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, any permanent, even a land. Transform Kefka, and he becomes Kefka, Ruler of Ruin, 5/7 flyer. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. I have decked out because of this effect. It's crazy. It gets nuts. Sometimes your opponent just scoops, and sometimes you damn near deck yourself out. But he's who we're building around. We want to abuse that discard. Once our opponent runs out of cards, we want to be able to draw a million cards. It feels fucking awesome. He's chaotic as shit. But let's talk about what we're actually playing. As you can see, this is mostly a Dimir deck with a little bit of red splashed in. Dimir is what I've been focusing on so much, and we did take a lot of inspiration from that. So, starting from the top, our 1-drops, Offer You Can't Refuse, busted ass, counter spell, cost 1, non-creature spell. It does give your opponent 2 treasure tokens, so you do gotta be careful about where you counter, but this thing wins games by itself. It's because you can use all your mana and just leave 1 up. This one's been putting in work. Sleep Curse Fairy, it's a 1-drop 3/3 flyer, has Ward 2 built in, but it comes in tapped with 3 stun counters on it. So it takes a few turns before you can actually use it. But you can pay a blue and 1 to untap it, which also removes stun counters. Cool thing about it is you can attack with it, and then on your opponent's turn, at instant speed, untap it and then block with it. And that Ward 2 gets really annoying. But it's also part of what we're doing in the early game. We wanted some early game stuff, and a 3/3 flyer is solid. Hulkraver, 1/1 with Death Touch, cost 1. I don't want to play this card, but it's kind of a replacement for Cecil because we can't play Cecil because its flip side is white. So we just needed cards to slow the game down sometimes. Bhagavad's Faithful, one of our reanimator spells, one of the harder ones to counter because it's an ability on a creature. Charter Course, you guys have heard me talk about this on my other videos. Being able to draw a card and discard a card to get our bodies engraved for reanimation, or if we attacked, we could just draw 2 cards. I will say with Kefka as opposed to Emmett Selk, the draw power is so much stronger because he's a draw engine in and of himself. Detect Intrusion has become probably my favorite counter spell. Counter target instant, sorcery, or triggered ability, and you can enweb it for 1, which is web slinging on paper. You can send back a creature that's tapped to your hand and pay the reduced cost. Disdainful Stroke. This is a new counter spell that we put in because before I was playing 2 copies of Offer You Can't Refuse, 2 copies of Detect Intrusion. We can't do that because it's singleton. This one just counters any spell mana value 4 or greater. It actually counters a lot of commanders. All right, this one was a newer one that I added, but it's been put in work. Gobin. This is Norman Osborn on paper. It can't be blocked. When it deals damage, he connives. So connive, you draw a card, you discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, he gets +1/+1. And then you can transform him for 4, or you can play him as his transform state, which he has Flying and Menace. He gives all of your cards mayhem. So if they get discarded, you can pay him for them a mayhem cost, which is their cost, but he reduces any cards from graveyard by 2. So you're paying them for cheaper. It gets pretty nasty. Bitter Triumph, great pop spell, gets rid of creatures, gets rid of planeswalkers. You have to pay 3 life or discard a card. It was a discard outlet for us, still is, but we can't play as many. We used to play it at 3. It is what it is. Feed the Swarm, gets rid of enchantments. I like having a little bit of enchantment hate. I don't like that it's a sorcery, but again, we kind of have to deal with it. Momentum Breaker. All right, so we have a little bit of discard in here, but mostly this is in the deck because there are so many cards out there that with Ward, with Indestructible, we needed ways to get rid of them without actually destroying them or targeting them. So Momentum Breaker helps because it forces our opponent to sacrifice a creature. And if they, whatever reason they don't have a creature, we can make them discard, which goes great with Kefka. Strategic Betrayal, same concept, but it also is some graveyard hate. Reanimator decks are still everywhere. Just say, sometimes you just gotta be like, get out of here. Terminus of Return, aka the Soul Stone. We're playing a black deck. It's a black mana rock, and in the late game, it can bring back our dudes over and over again. There's been times where I've exiled my commander because I have a shitload of mana, start bringing dudes back from the grave, and then recast my commander. All right, this is where we start getting into some weird stuff. So obviously we can only play 1 Charted Course, so I had to find ways to increase our draw ability as well as our discard ability without messing with our mana curve too much. So Demand Answers, it's an instant. It's a red and 1, discard a card, draw 2 cards, or sacrifice an artifact. So it's nice that we can, if we want, don't have the cards in hand, we could just draw 2 by getting rid of an artifact. Kickoff Celebration. This is where things get a little spicy. So Kickoff Celebration, it's an enchantment. When it enters, you discard a card, draw 2 cards. Same concept as Charter Course and Demand Answers, but it starts you with speed. So it gives you 1. It starts you at 1, and every time you swing at your opponent, every time your opponent loses life, it increases by 1 to a max of 4. When it's at max speed, you can sack it and give creatures and vehicles, we're not playing any vehicles, but creatures, haste until end of turn. Giving haste to Kefka is disgusting. Summon Yu-Gi-Oh! Casting Kefka, making your opponent discard while you draw cards, and then giving him haste so he swings and they have to discard another card and you draw more cards. It just feels so freaking gross. Suplex. I fucking needed some artifact hate. And this is cost 2, and it can also be used as a destruction spell. It's like a red version of Feed the Swarm, but it can also and it exiles artifacts. So a lot of people still play Terminus of Return. It's indestructible. Now we can just exile it. Sorry, I'm talking fast. Thrill Possibility, another instant, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Same concept. So we basically have 4 Charter Courses. Arcane Signet, Mana Rock, Winter Night Stories. Probably my favorite draw spell. Draw 3, discard 2 unless you discard a creature, and then you can harmonize it from the grave. We have plenty of dudes that are great for harmonize. Anyway, harmonize explanations right there, but basically you can tap a creature and it reduces the cost by whatever the creature's power is. So you can actually use this for 1. I've done that many times. Kasari Revenant, flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. We needed some Lifelink because we needed to be able to stay in the game. It also has Death Touch to slow the game down, and then of course it has its graveyard effect. Pay 3. You put a flying, a Death Touch, and a lifelink counter on a creature. Pharaohification. This is an enchantment. Same concept as Kickoff Celebration. At the beginning of your combat, you choose one. Target creature gets +2/+0, or target creature gets Menace and Haste. We have some great creatures, especially on the black side, that are just brutal when they come in, and giving them haste makes them nuts. Screaming Nemesis. This card is a jump scare for everybody. Comes in, has haste. If it gets dealt any damage, you can deal that damage back out to whatever, including the player. If you deal it to the player, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. And that right there makes this card a threat. I hate this card. But, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. Aetherize. Again, card that wins games, especially against token spam decks. Return all attacking creatures to the owner's hands. Do you know how many times people have gotten fucking greedy as shit and it'd be like, hey, get out of here. Zombify, our classic revival spell, 4-drop revive. Elegy Acolyte. Elegy Acolyte's mostly made it into this deck because of the lifelink, but it also has a little bit of draw, a little bit of, you know, creating dudes. Whenever a creature you control deals damage, you get to draw a card, and then Void. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield, you get a 2/2 colorless robot. So, I mean, just free bodies. But he's mostly in there for the lifelink, because again, we have to be able to stay in the game. Cavero. Cavero is part of our reanimation package. You can have him enter as a copy of a card from any graveyard, except it's a 4/4 Spider Human, and then you exile the card that he's copying. I mean, he has the same stats as Arden. So it doesn't feel bad just to cast him for 4. And he's a little bit of graveyard hate, you can pull cards out of your opponent's graveyard. Coil and Rebirth, my favorite reanimation spell, even though it is a 5-drop. You can gift a card, basically you choose to give your opponent a card, they get to draw a card, you get to return a creature from the grave. If you gifted it, you get to make another copy of that creature. That's a 1/1. Goes really good with cards like Bahamut or River Regent, but yeah, or Overlord of the Bailmerk. Live or Die. I didn't like this card at first, but this card grew on me too, because it's an instant. It's a 5-drop. You can either destroy a creature or you can return a card to the graveyard. Return a card from the graveyard. Once I realized this was an instant, this card became so much better. Because it's cool. I'll leave 5 mana up. If I have to use my other instances, my counters, whatever, cool. If I don't, cool. I get to bring back a creature and then have access to all my mana on my turn. Which all of the other reanimation spells are all sorceries. So it's the only one that does that. Overlord of the Bailmerk, just a good dude. Play him for 2. Mill 4, add a dude, or when he comes back as a creature, 5/5 dude, same thing on every attack. Season of the Lost. All right, this is where we get into the board wipes. Season of the Lost has the same concept as cards like Momentum Breaker and Strategic Betrayal. We needed some non-destruction removal, so we needed more sacrifice, and Season of the Lost can make your opponent sacrifice up to 5 cards. You do sometimes have to sacrifice your own, but every board wipe is going to do that to us. Same with Villainous Wrath. Villainous Wrath burns our opponent equal to the number of creatures they control by 1. And then it destroys all creatures. They're both 5-drops, so they're pretty cheap. All right, Manga River Regent. This is in here as a draw spell because you can omen it as an instant for 4 to draw 3 and discard a card, but it shuffles itself back into the deck. Or you can play it as a 6/7 flyer that sends any 2 permanents back to your opponent's hand. This is another card that has won me games. I did a Coiling Rebirth on this, bounce back 4 of my opponent's cards, and he just couldn't come back fast enough. Odin steals games, 5/3. Destroys a creature on entry. If you hit your opponent on the second turn he's out, they lose the game. That's the big reason he's in there. If he makes it to his 3rd turn, you draw 2 cards. Arden is my favorite card in Magic. He's going to be in every black deck I play. I love this fucking card. Copies dudes in the graveyard, exiles them, they become 5/5 demons. He buffs all demons with Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. He's just disgusting. He wins games on his own. Vagaboth Terror Eater, one of the best demons in the game, 9/9. Exiles anything, goes to your opponent's graveyard. Flying, lifelink, and ward. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents built in. The cards that are exiled by his effect, you can cast them by paying life instead of their mana cost. He's another one that can, the longer he's on the board, the harder he is to deal with. And then Bahamut. 9-drop, 9/9. Gets his first lore counter, second lore counter pops a card, gets 3 lore counters, draws 2 cards, gets 4. Mega Flare, burns your opponent equal to the number of mana costs on your board. Lastly, we have the lands. I kind of tried to go for a mostly even split, even though, I mean, if you look at it, most of our stuff is split pretty evenly between the 3 colors. 4 of each basic. Now, Gloomlake Verge, blue-black, Restless Reef. That's the only creature land I'm playing. That's a 4/4 with Death Touch, and it can mill ourselves out. Water Grave is the only shock land, which I think is fucking crazy, but it is what it is. It's the only one that's in standard. I looked. Then we have this one, red. If you have an island or a mountain, it can also tap for blue. We're only playing 2 tap lands, or 2, well, 3 exclusively tap lands. Enters tapped, scry 1, and then Temple of Malice enters tapped, scry 1. Lastly is exclusive Nightclub. It can be tapped for any of the 3 colors, so that's why I was just like, fuck it, we'll play it. Cool thing about this, it has Mayhem. So if we discard this with one of our effects, we can play this from the graveyard. We do lose 2 life, that's a downside, but giving it Mayhem I thought was cool. Command Tower, of course. Multiverse Patches. This is another one that's kind of like been helping the shit out of me, because you can have it become any basic land that you need, and then it enters tapped unless you pay 2 life, and it's basically like a shock land. And the only other one I play that becomes a creature is Soulstone Sanctuary, because it stays a creature. It doesn't turn back into a land that you have to pay for again. It literally just sits on the board. But I know this was long as shit, and I'm so sorry. Here's the deck. Give me your thoughts. Give me your ideas. Let me know what I should change up. Let's go jump into a game. All right. We have everything but black. But we have nothing but black in our hand. Yeah, we're gonna mull. All right. We have everything but blue, but we have red and black in our hand. Yeah, we can deal with this. And we have an arcane signet. Yeah, we're all right. Let's play the tap land first, since we have no first turn plays. Ooh, I want that. I want that a lot. Cool. All right, we'll play the mountain and the arcane signet. So far, so good. Next turn, we'll play the Ferification. Only downside is we need a land. There's our land. So we'll enter tapped and we'll play Ferification. Hopefully he doesn't have anything that destroys an enchantment. I would be sad if he did that. Oh, he casts his commander. We play lands off the top and survey 2. Alright, that's fine. Do we clear his board first? Do we clear his board, or do we go straight into Kefka? Because then we can discard Valgaboth Terror Eater, we can start drawing cards. I don't want to get any value out of this. I think it's worth it. And then we'll leave the rest of our mana up, because either we'll Bitter Triumph if we need to, if he plays something stupid, or we can demand answers and discard to draw 2 cards. I really like that this is an instant. He's playing it again. Interesting. All right. We'll just snipe that. Get that out of here. Now let's start ripping his hand to shreds because he's tapped out. Kefka. Ooh, Valgaboth's Faithful. We like that. We didn't get a land, but we're about to draw a bunch of cards. Oh, there's our land. We'll see how this goes. Target creature gets menace and haste. Let's rip another card. I'm gonna get rid of demand answers. We both got rid of a sorcery there. That sucks. All right, Curse Fairy. And yeah, there you go. And then next turn we can bring back Valgaboth. What the fuck? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We gotta kill that. We're gonna play the mountain. We're gonna play... Let's swing and see what we get. Oh, I'm stupid. I should have played Valgaboth and gave it haste. I'm so dumb. Oh, I'm so stupid. I forgot about the whole reason I have this in here. What? He's gonna block it. That's fine. We don't give a shit about that right now. If I had a revival spell, I would put it in the grave, but I'm not going to risk not being able to get it back. Wait, can I just play it again? Never mind. Let's rip another card out. Oh, yeah. Those are good cards. Those are real good cards. Nah, I want him to swing with this. Oh, it has vigilance. Never mind. Don't swing with that. That's fine. I'll take the 7. We're about to gain a shitload of life back now, the next turn anyway. That's not good. Thankfully we have the Aetherize. But how do I want to deal with this? How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have 3, so I wouldn't be able to Aetherize. So let's instead attack with Kefka and rip another card. Let's see what we draw. That was a fantastic top deck. Because we're going to clear his board right now. This is a tough decision. I'll take action because I don't want to risk, again, not being able to get him. Because if I'm going to go to revive Arden and if he stops it, I'm going to be upset. All right, we're going to sacrifice 3, and then we should draw 2 cards. And that dodges all his protection. That kills all his big boys. Get them shits out of here. And he's left with 1 card in his hand and his commander. I think the only misplay I made was not playing Valgaboth earlier. Let's get rid of that last card, too. Good top deck. I love it here. I'm going to keep Valgaboth Faithful in hand just to keep it safe. Destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. You're oh, my signet? Why the signet and not the verification? You know what? I'm not going to ask questions. My boy. My favorite Magic the Gathering card. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 mana up. I'll hold off on the kick. Maybe I should have got the kickoff celebration. Kind of like this. Yeah. We can give him Menace and Haste. So we can swing them both. Boink. Boink. And then, I mean, we don't have enough mana for Aetherize, so there's no point in saving it. So might as well do a kickoff celebration. Which we will discard Bahamut and draw 2. Oh, Terminus of Return. Nice, nice, nice. I want to say we got this. Yep. I thought that went really well. All right, guys. Here's another look at the deck we threw together. Again, I hope you liked it. You got to see what I was going for, and you got to see what I meant about Kefka being kind of a draw engine as we were trying to draw into answers. We had the mana, we had ways to bring him back if we really wanted to try. I mean, maybe I was a little too skittish of his blue cards because I see blue and I immediately think counterspell, and I've gone to cast Kefka and got a counterspell and it doesn't feel good. So, but let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think I should change up or I should try out. Appreciate all your support, guys. If you want to check me out on social media, links will be down below. Keep an eye out for when I do my next Magic the Gathering Arena stream, guys. There are other decks I want to build. I just went with Kefka mostly because I thought he was cool and because he's a pretty easy extension from Emmett Selk, as I was already playing Dimir and just throwing in some red. It took some experimenting, but I think I finally got it where I like it. If you guys want to check me out on social media, links down below. That's it from me. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
born for this. I got demons on my side, doing right like this. I got reason to believe, I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world, let it go like this.